Is Joe Biden really going to give you $25,000 towards the purchase of your home? Well, that's certainly what's being proposed, but I guarantee you the answer will surprise you. Ever since Joe Biden has been elected, many Americans with hopes of purchasing their first home have been patiently waiting and very optimistic about this actually happening. Well, we finally have the details of what's being proposed. Today we're going to dive into the details, and I'm going to explain to you why this is not exactly what you think, and most first-time home buyers won't be eligible for this program. I'm Mark Jenkins, a trusted realtor, and I'm here to make sure you know everything you need to know to make your next real estate move go as smooth as possible. I'll teach you how to buy, sell, or invest in real estate the right way. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the free content I provide to help you win the deal every single time. Let's get into it. So before we get into this proposed bill titled the Down Payment Towards Equity Act, let's take a recap on the real estate market in general and talk about why so many people would need $25,000 towards their down payment of their first home. Right now, we have a major shortage of inventory for homes here in America. Specifically in Metro Atlanta, we have about half as many homes available now as this same time last year. Builders aren't building like they used to because of material and labor shortages. Homeowners aren't selling like they used to because of fears of COVID-19 or just refinancing their mortgage altogether because of record low interest rates. And home prices have risen to the highest price ever because of this. And also, there are millions of homes that should have been foreclosed on, but due to foreclosure moratoriums, they haven't. Basically, there are very few homes available with many home buyers. And record high home prices are the result of the basic economics of supply and demand. And as you might imagine, higher home prices equal a higher down payment. And I guess the good thing is you're gonna get $25,000 towards the purchase of your first home, right? So let's go ahead and jump into the details of why you would or wouldn't be eligible to get this free money from Joe Biden. So we're gonna jump into an article from Housing Wire. It's titled, "Here It Is, a Bill to Help First-Time Home Buyers." But it's not a tax credit, and conditions will limit how many people can qualify. So the article starts off with, consumers have been closely following President Joe Biden's first-time home buyer tax credit, but the latest legislative effort to assist home buyers differs in several significant ways. The newest draft of the down payment assistance bill would provide $25,000 for first-time home buyers, but only those who are first-generation home buyers and economically disadvantaged. This is the first reason why many of you will not be able to participate in this program. No $25,000 for you, which is, I don't know, it doesn't really help out first-time home buyers because just because your parents own the home doesn't mean that you don't need a little help being able to achieve home ownership. Continuing, it says, plus Biden's proposal is not actually a home buyer tax credit, but is money that would be available at closing, which is good. Because a lot of times, if it were a tax credit, you would have to actually put the money up yourself and you would be able to file it on your taxes and get a refund. With this proposed bill, this money is actually going to be given to the seller at closing. Moving on Wednesday, lawmakers published a draft version of the legislation, the Down Payment Towards Equity Act of 2021, ahead of a hearing held by the U.S. Committee on Financial Services, which Rep. Maxine Waters chairs. During the hearing, lawmakers discussed a number of housing measures on the table in President Biden's infrastructure package, including funding to shore up public housing. I don't know, do we still even have public housing? Comment below. If you have public housing near you, comment below, but I'm not really aware of any that we have here in Metro Atlanta. Moving on, it says the proposed down payment assistance would be means tested based on income and limited to those who have not owned a house for at least 3 years. To qualify, neither of the borrower's parents may have owned a home. That qualification doesn't apply if the borrower's parents lost their home in a foreclosure or a short sale, or if the borrower has ever been in foster care, however. So essentially, so far we're at, if your parents have never owned a home, or if they own the home and lost it in a foreclosure, you may be eligible. And also, if you were in foster care, then you'll be eligible as well. Borrowers who make no more than 120% of the area median income where they live, or if they live in a high-cost area, 180%, will qualify for a baseline of $20,000. Wait, what happened to the $25,000? We're already down to 20. Those recognized as socially disadvantaged because they are in a group that has been subjected to racial or ethnic prejudice could receive an additional $5,000. So, I mean, who comes up with this stuff? Obviously, it's the federal government that comes up with this stuff. But how do you define someone who is socially disadvantaged? I can think of so many social disadvantages that probably won't be recognized. But if you are in one of these groups, you get an extra $5K. Congratulations to you. Although it doesn't really make up for the racial prejudice that you have experienced in America. But Joe Biden's going to give you $5,000 for that. So the grant funding, which is not a tax credit, as they've said multiple times, could be used at closing toward a down payment on a residential property with 1 to 4 units, including a condominium, cooperative project, or a manufactured housing unit. So listen up, for you people that want to invest in real estate, this is a really good way for you to get your down payment funds to actually buy that investment property. I know that that's something that I'm going to be looking at personally. Wouldn't it be great if the government will actually give you something which you can make money off of instead of giving you student loans, which you'll be saddled with forever, and maybe you won't be able to even find employment in that field? But I digress. The program, which is currently being discussed in the House of Representatives, will dole out funds to states based on population, median area home prices, and racial disparities in home ownership rates. Well, in that case, if we're talking racial disparities in home ownership rates, then everybody black should get it. Forget about all the other requirements. Did you know that only 42% of black households actually own their homes, which is the lowest in the United States? So if we're talking racial disparities in homeownership rates, just give $25,000 to every black homeowner. Forget about first-time homebuyer. Everybody who's black, give them $25,000 because clearly we have some racial disparities when it comes to home ownership. All right, moving on. State finance agencies would be tasked with administering the program and distributing the funds, but they could delegate that responsibility to community-based nonprofit entities such as community development financial institutions, minority depository institutions, housing counseling agencies, or community development credit union. Here in Metro Atlanta, have you ever heard of any of these different types of agencies or companies or people that are nonprofits helping people get houses? Let me know below. But the majority of people that I serve and that I work with here in Metro Atlanta, they've never really heard of these agencies. Or when you work with these agencies, they're so backed up that it will take you over a year to even get qualified to even get that grant money. So I don't know if this is the best option. Personally, I say, why not give the money to the lenders or let the lenders access this money so it speeds up the process? And another thing, right now, because we have low inventory, you're getting multiple offers on the home. And when sellers are looking at multiple offers, they don't want to wait on a grant program to, close on the sale of their property. They're looking for somebody who can close within 2 to 3 weeks. With my experience working with these grant programs, like Georgia Dream, for example, it's going to take 45 days just for you to get to the closing table, which is why many first-time home buyer programs now are essentially junk, because you can't use them. No one's going to wait for you to be able to, get that grant. This will not be the first time the federal government has given first-time home buyers a boost. All right. A Bush-era program for the first-time home buyer tax credit allowed home buyers to claim a credit on their income taxes. The Obama administration continued the program until 2010. Isn't that great how they just continue everything until the people who need it the most aren't even able to access the programs? If you're a millennial, this just basically tells you that you haven't had any help in 11 years, at least from the federal government. President Biden first intimated he was considering a first-time homebuyer benefit while he was on the campaign trail. Unlike the Bush and Obama era programs, however, under the draft legislation, borrowers would receive down payment assistance up front. Just, you know what? Just give me $25,000. How about that? If you would like to get $25,000 from the federal government and you wouldn't even need some type of down payment assistance, comment below. Let me know. Because if I could just get $25,000 from the federal government, I really wouldn't need help buying a house. I'd flip that. But basically, I'm going to stop boring you here because I'm sure you're getting tired of hearing what's going on in this article. So basically, from what Housing Wire says in this proposed bill, you have to be first generation homeowner, or part of a socially disadvantaged or group that has experienced racial prejudice, or in foster care, and you can't make more than 120% of the area median income, or in high cost areas, 180%. So let me ask you, if you live in one of the other metropolitan areas, which are a lot more expensive than Atlanta, which is literally all of them in the United States, if you live in Charlotte or DC, oh my God, New York, California, Dallas, Houston areas, will $25,000 really cover your down payment for something nice or something decent, something livable? Here in Metro Atlanta, it will help you out if you can actually get it and actually be able to use it. $25,000 as a down payment really helps. But I know my brother lives out in California, specifically San Jose, and $25,000, man, that's it's like a joke giving somebody $25,000, telling them that you're helping them buy a home out there. And so now you know what's being proposed. If this bill passes as is, unfortunately, it's not going to help first-time home buyers the way you think it will. And if you're not getting it, I'm sure you're already ticked off right now, especially if you check that box for Joe Biden. So I'm going to give you several reasons why me, as a trusted realtor, why I don't think this will help you out. Great idea. Well, I guess it's a good idea, but they need some tweaking with it. I'm guessing that they didn't really speak to many realtors when they were coming up with this, which is, I don't know. Somebody has Joe Biden's number, or what's her name? Kamala Harris. Tell her to give me a call. I'll get this thing fixed up real quick. But here are a few reasons why I don't think this is going to work. Reason number one, the first reason why this isn't going to work is giving $25,000 to first-time home buyers when we already have low inventory. It's just going to bring more buyers to the market, which is going to raise housing prices even more, which is the reason why people trying to buy their first home actually needed help with their down payment. So you're only making the problem worse. Higher prices, higher down payment. Don't forget that. And as you already heard while I was reading through the article, the second reason this won't work is if you're not giving this money directly to lenders or giving lenders direct access to disperse these funds, and people have to go through grant programs, there's going to be a ton of red tape involved with this. Generally, grant programs can take anywhere from 45 days or more to actually get home buyers to the closing table after they've already gone under contract. And right now, with the housing market the way it is, sellers aren't going to wait 45 days. So they wouldn't care if you got an extra $25,000, especially if you couldn't put it directly in their pockets. They're not going to wait 45 days just for you to use Joe Biden's program. They're going to take cash or a conventional offer, or even an FHA offer that can close a lot quicker than, 45 days with using a program like this. I mean, think about it. If you were selling a home and you had, 10 offers, right? And you got a few of them that can close in 2 weeks, meaning you get your money in 2 weeks, and you got a few that's, in between 2 weeks and let's just say a month. But then you have like 5 of them that are like, hey, I got the Joe Biden down payment assistance program. I get an extra $25,000, but you need to wait 45 days. Which would you pick? Come on. The answer is obvious. And thirdly, based on the qualifications, many first-time home buyers won't even be able to qualify. Because here's the thing. A lot of people have parents that actually own the home and they're not first-generation home buyers, but they really need the help coming up with that down payment. Or there are people who are not part of these socially disadvantaged and racially prejudiced groups that also may need help buying their first home. Just to put it simple, there are millions of millennials trying to buy their first home right now, and it's not going to help many of them. I mean, this bill is only going to affect a small number of people trying to buy their first home. So that's my third issue with it. And as a trusted realtor, I always bring some type of solution to you because I'm studying the market. I know what's going on. If Washington wants to make it easier for millennials to buy a home, here's the first thing they should do. The first thing they should do is eliminate student loan debt from consideration in qualifying for an FHA loan. I'm not one of those people that says wipe out student loan debt. Like, that's not what this channel is for. I'm just a real estate guy, all right? But If you eliminate student loan debt from the qualification process, like medical bills aren't a part of the qualification process, then that actually opens up the amount that millennials with student loans can actually afford. So they really won't need this down payment. A lot of millennials are making good money. I know nurses and all different types of doctors, engineers, and they racked up hundreds of thousands of dollars going to college in student loan debt. And although they have a good salary, some of them actually have $25,000 to be able to purchase a home. The problem is they can't qualify for a home that fits their needs, because when you have student loans, they take that against your debt to income ratio, and that is a whole other topic that we will talk about down the road. But if Washington really wants to help, just eliminate student loans from the qualification process and actually getting a home. There is a link in the description, and I need your support. Go ahead, click on the link. I have a petition to the federal government to remove student loans from consideration in qualifying for a home loan. Link is in the description. Please sign. We all thank you in advance. And also, we're deep into a seller's market. A balanced market in real estate is really between like 4 to 6 months or more worth of inventory. I know right now in Metro Atlanta, we have less than 30 days worth of inventory. That essentially means that if nobody decided to sell their home in the next 30 days, we'll just run out of houses to sell. It won't be anything for anybody to buy. So if you want to fix housing for first-time home buyers, we need more homes, not less. More homes, not less. Are you guys listening? My suggestion is, why not give sellers some type of incentive when they're actually selling their home? Why don't we figure out a way to get more people selling their home? Why not give sellers a tax credit of $25,000 just for them to put their home on the market? I'm sure a lot of my clients, they would love that. Or why not give builders an incentive to build more homes? Because you builders out there, if any of you builders are watching, you are part of the problem. Now, I know you got, those increased material and labor costs, et cetera, but I know a lot of you all are sitting on land that you could be building on, except for you're not. And the reason why you're not is because you want more of that money. Hey, get your money. This is America. We live in a capitalistic society. But if they were to give builders an incentive to build more homes, this would also create more homes that would be available for first-time home buyers. And also, this is a touchy topic, but as long as there are millions of homes that should have been foreclosed on but aren't being foreclosed on because banks are greedy and they don't want the home prices to go down, the housing price bubble is going to continue to inflate. And they're kicking the can down the road here, but when this bubble bursts, it's going to be bad for everybody. So what do you think? After learning about what's in this proposed Down Payment Toward Equity Act of 2021, I like to call it the Joe Biden Down Payment Assistance Program. I think that has a little bit of a better ring to it. But what do you think? Comment below. Are you excited or more excited now that you know what's in the bill? Do you feel like you'll actually be able to get it? Or are you one of those people who is like, man, my parents own the home and I'm flat broke and I need that money, so I don't understand why I'm not going to get it? Or if you're somebody that just falls in between and you're like, hey, it would be nice, but I don't really care, I'm still going to save my money. Let me know what you think below. I'm going to respond to as many comments as I can. I want to know what's on your mind so I can continue to create content that helps you out, because I'm a trusted realtor. I'm here to make sure that you win every deal every time. And thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow me on social media. If you're looking for me on IG, it's at A Trusted Realtor. On Facebook, A Trusted Realtor. I appreciate your time. Wishing you a wonderful time. And this is the Trusted Realtor. Deal closed.